So, when they're submitted to Him, is that when He can actually use them powerfully through your life. Yeah. Okay, with me? So I feel like I'm repeating myself. So, what happens is where we get mixed up is we kind of come into church and we meet God and He gives us these visions and these dreams for our life. So we see what we want to do and we go over here. God's got His kind of vision over here, right? And we're over here. We're kind of taking the talents God's given us and we're building a life. We're trying to build a replica of what God has planned for us. Do you get what I'm saying? So basically, it's like the Babylonian Tower of our day. The greatest example I can give you is The Secret. Does everyone know The Secret? Yeah? No? Yeah? Johnny does. So for those who don't know, The Secret is this concept, basically the power of the law of attraction, right? That by power of positive confession, you can attract what you want into your life. So the concept is if you need money, if you speak money into your life every day, then the universe will give it back to you. Side point, we watched this in work the other week for a training session, and the whole room got it. The whole room's like, oh, this is amazing. And I'm like, but if I stand up and talk about God, so you guys are willing to commit your lives to the universe, this overpowering universe, and this concept that will feed life back into you. I was like, but the notion of God is preposterous? I was like, what is with that? Anyway, so The Secret is all about the law of attraction. But what ends up happening is if we're doing this and we're taking things like tools that God's given us like prayer and the Word and church to build a life for ourselves over here, is that we just end up living this religious life. It's just all these tasks built up to create this facade that we want to have this successful life. But the fact is, it's just like the Babylonian Tower, like I said, and God will come down and wipe that out because He wants you to submit it back to Him. So as long as you're building it for yourself, God can't use you, and therefore, there's nothing in that. It's pointless. Right? See, in my life, I was doing that. After I got saved, after I started coming here, I got hooked into a Connect group and had people speaking lots of vision into me and calling into things into being that I didn't know were inside of me. And so I kind of ran with that and realized the gifts that God had given me and started putting them towards things like managing bands and putting on music events and touring with bands and that kind of stuff, which was amazing. It was so fun. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna live life. I'm gonna become the next big event manager. But I kind of realized over time that everything I did was just, like I said, it was finite. Like it wasn't going anywhere. It was just like one event after another. And it was the most frustrating, exhausting time of my life because I couldn't get ahead. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get anywhere. But once I realized, okay, God, this is it. I'm going to submit all that stuff to you. He just accelerated me back into the kingdom and accelerated me into leadership and into change. And I mean, once I did that, my life just fell into place. I made the most amazing friends that I'd been looking for my whole life. Not to say those people before weren't cool. I met my future wife here at Change, so we're getting married in a few weeks. And just the people and the purpose in this place is just incredible. But it was only because I laid down what I had so that I submitted it to God so that God could then use it through me to achieve my purpose. Do you get what I'm saying? So it wasn't like what I was doing before wasn't the gifts God had given me, but it was completely misguided energy. So I was doing all these things, and I was praying, and I was reading, and all this kind of stuff, but I just couldn't get any closer to God because it was all for my gain. Okay? So the cool thing about this is when you understand this revelation, that's when you get to the stage where you can see times of trial, all is joy. James says, whenever you face trials, treat them as pure joy. Because in everything you face, it's no longer up to you. Who loves that? I mean, it's all freedom. It's all liberating. You can just submit everything unto God and trust in Him that He will provide. So, the danger with this, though, for our generation and our culture in this part of the world, is that too often we get this confused with sacrifice rather than submission. Right? And there's a huge difference between sacrifice and submission. So sacrifice speaks of ownership, right? So So sacrifice is an act of giving up something valued for the sake of something else regarded as more important or worthy. So if you are sacrificing things, so if you're walking through life and you're sacrificing things for God, basically you're putting an ownership on that, right? But if all things are created through Jesus, for Jesus, what truly do we own before we sacrifice it? So what is ours to sacrifice? So sacrifice speaks of pain. It hurts to sacrifice something because it's valuable to you. It means something. So if you're sacrificing your money, man, you're going to struggle to tithe the whole of your Christian walk because it's painful to part with something. Because it means it's valuable to you and you've placed ownership over that. But if you're submitting it to God, you're saying, God, this was never mine in the first place. You blessed me with it, so I'm going to give it back to you to use through the kingdom. So therefore, it's freedom, and that's how you can give as a joyful giver, and that's how God can use you and bless using things like that.